Volume retest. Question 1. The right rectangular prism below is made of 8 cubes. Each cube has an edge length of a half. What is the volume of this prism? Because you don't know how long each side is, you need to first figure that out. So if I look at the left side, the bottom edge here rather, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4 cubes that each have an edge length of a half, which means that's 2 inches long. So this side is 2 inches. This side right here is a half an inch. And then this side here is 1 inch because 1/2 plus 1/2 is 1. So to find volume, I know that volume is length times width times height. So volume is equal to 2 times 1 times a half. So it's 2 over 2, or 1 cubic inch. Question number 2. Susan is planting flowers in a box that measures 3 feet long, 2 1/3 feet wide, and 1 2/3 feet deep. How many cubic feet of dirt can the box hold? So once again, volume equals length times width times height. So my length is 3. My width is 2 times 3, which is 8, plus 1 is 7 over 3. Times my height is 1 times 3 plus 2 is 5 over 3. So if I multiply, I get 105 over 9. All fractions mean divide. There is 1, 9, and 10. I get 15. There is 1, which gives me 6 left over. So my answer is 1 6/9, or 11 rather than 6/9, or 1 2/3 feet cubed. Next one. Flower pot in the shape of a right rectangular prism. The area of the base is 72. I know my other formula for volume is volume equals capital BH. So the volume is equal to 72 times 7.5 is 15 halves. So if I multiply 72 times 15, that is 1,080. 1 times 2 is 2. All fractions mean divide. 2 goes into 10 5 times. 2 goes into 8 4 times. 2 goes into 0 0 times. 540 cubic inches. Number 4, John has a storage bin in the shape of a rectangular prism. Storage bin measures 3.5, which is 7 halves, times 2, times 2. So the volume of this is 14 cubic units. However, they're asking you how many half-foot blocks will fit on each side. So on this side, if it's 3 halves, that's 7 cubes will fit on that side. This side is 2, which means I can fit 4 on that side. And this side is also 2, which means I can fit 4 on that side. So 4 times 4 is 16. 16 times 7, 112. A layer of centimeter cubes is shown in the prism. So we've got 4 on this edge, 6 on this edge. I'm simply going to multiply. So 25 halves times 4 firsts times 6 firsts. This is 100 times 6 is 600. Divided by 2, 300. Next one, a new storage unit is being built. The current unit has a length, width, and height. So the first thing I have to do is to figure the volume of this. So the first thing I've done is I've made all these be improper fractions and multiplied. So 15 times 16 times 8, that's 1920. 2 times 3 times 1, that's 6. And 6 into 1920 give me 320 units cubed. So the next thing I need to do, that's my target number, is I need to look here. So I've got 7 times 5 times 9. 7 times 5 times 9 is 315. So that one doesn't work. One beneath it is 8 times 5, which is 40, times 7. 40 times 7 is 4 times 7 is 28. So this one's 280. So that one doesn't work. All right, this one, 8 times 4, 32. 32 times 10, that one does work. That's 320. This one was 360. So the correct answer is B. All right, next one. What is the volume of the box below? Change that to an improper fraction. Multiply. It's 40 halves. 40 divided by 2, 20. All right, this question. They did not give you how much sugar was left. So the first thing I need to figure out is the length of that purple line. So I need to do 12 minus 7/4. So I need to have a common denominator. So I have 48/4 minus 7/4, which is 41/4. So this line right here is 41/4 long. So I need to multiply 41 over 4 times 3 over 2 times 17 over 2. So my denominator is going to be 16. And I need to multiply to get my numerators. 41 times 3 times 17 is 2,091 divided by 16 is 130 and 11/16. Next one, Sharon has a cake that measures 7.5 inches wide, 13.5 inches long, and 1.5 inches tall. How many pieces of cake that are 1.5 inches on each side can she cut? So this is just like the ones where we're putting little tinies inside. Only these little tinies are 1.5 inches tall. So the first thing I need to do is I need to figure out how many 1.5s fit on this side. Well, that's easy. 1.5 divided by 1.5, I can fit one piece on this side. So I've got 13.5. So 13.5 is 27 halves divided by 3, 27 halves rather, halves. Means I can fit 9 pieces on this side. And then here, I've got 15 halves divided by 3 halves, which means I can fit 5 pieces on that side. So I can fit 5 on one side, 9 on the other side, and 1 on the last side, which means I can cut 45 cube pieces that each have an edge length of 1.5. Next one, the rectangular prism has a height of 13.5 and a length of 3 1/4 and a volume of 263 1/4. So I remember that V equals length times width times height. V is 263 1/4. My height is 13.5. My length is 3 1/4, and I'm looking for my width. So this is just an equation. So the first thing I have to do is to simplify this side by multiplying. So I've got 13/4 times 27 halves, and that gives me 351/8 is equivalent to 1,053/4. So who's the variable? W. What's happening to it? It's being multiplied by that. So I'm going to divide both sides by this. So I'm going to divide by 351/8 and divide by 351/8. So I have 1,053/4 divided by 351/8. I need to find a common denominator, so it's going to be 8. So I'm going to have 2,106/8 divided by 351/8, and 2,106 divided by 351 is 6. So the missing side is 6 units long. Okay, next question. You're being asked to find the volume of the sandbox. So I'm going to multiply 8 times 6 times 1, which is 48 cubic feet. And then each cubic foot is going to cost me 30 cents. So I need to multiply that by 30. And I get 1,440. Put in my decimal point, and there's my answer. All right, next one. You're being asked to find the edge length of this little line right here. So if I look at this side, I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 little ones. Here I've got 1, 2, 3 little ones. And here I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 little ones. Well, if I write this as an improper fraction, it's 5/4. This is 3/4. This is 7/4. So the side length is 1/4 of an inch. Next one, you're being asked to find out how many what the volume of this is. So that once again, 1, 2, 3, 4 centimeters for that side. 1, 2 centimeters for that side. 1, 2, 3 centimeters for that side. So it's 4 times 2 times 3, which is 24 cubic centimeters. And then the last one, you're being asked to find the volume of this yellow cube here. So this side is 3 inches. So I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So I have 6 units. So that means that each one is a half long, because 1 half, 2 halves, that's 1, 3 halves, 4 halves, that's 2, 4, 5 halves, 6 halves, that's 3. So each one of these measures a half an inch. So it's a half times a half times a half, which is an eighth. Please make sure you've got everything written down. Don't just copy down the answers. The retest for this will be next week. Thank you.